So Jivey here, coming at you with Rage Gaming. And first, I'll start off by saying I apologize if you hear any background noise. My husband is currently mowing the lawn, but I figured this would be a perfect opportunity for me to record a video due to the fact that my children are actually taking a nap for once. So, anyways, today, if you haven't known yet or anything like that, Faction Rallies was last week. And today is Victory Week of the Faction Rallies. And for anyone that doesn't know, although if you played the Faction Rallies, you probably already do know, Dead Orbit won. It was definitely a landslide. It was not even close. Mostly probably because of the Graviton Lance Catalyst. Some new things that they did with the Faction Rally is they actually changed it so you can only pledge to one faction per account. And this kind of like put more of a play on the fact that people wanted Graviton Lance. And I can completely understand this in a way of why Bungie would do this. It'd probably help open up the fact that there's a possibility the future workout could also win in the Faction Rallies later on, as well as it would prevent people from getting all three catalysts at the same time, and it kind of like lengthen out the period of which you could play them. I kind of feel like lately, because of the fact that people have been complaining that there's not enough content from Bungie, that Bungie has gone and put blockers, in my opinion, of content to slow you down, like you can't gain a lot of light level, and then they do stuff like the one week you get the weapon thing that was for Nessa Dawn, and that was kind of like slow people down. Like, I know me personally, I blew through Curse of Osiris weapons within like 3, maybe 4 weeks. I had them all, and I did some serious grinding, but that's just because me personally, I'm a YouTuber, so I have to put in that time and that effort just to kind of show you guys what's going on and all that stuff. But even for the normal player, they were still blowing through the content, and I kind of feel like Bungie's been putting in very, very subtle blockers in there to slow people down on the content and to make sure they're not blowing through it quicker. And so that's basically what I felt like was kind of going on with them separating out the faction rallies. It kind of like slowed it down so that one person couldn't get all 3 catalysts in 1 week, which I can kind of understand that, but at the same time, it was definitely very frustrating because I like to feel like that each one of my characters is its own separate character. So that's why I'd always pledged 1 to each faction, but now it's kind of left me like, oh, this is horrible because I can only pledge to 1 faction. But I basically just want to go over some pros and cons, and there's definitely a lot more cons than there are pros, but overall, I really did not mind the faction rally itself. It's just some things I really didn't like. I don't want to necessarily say I hated them, but I just didn't like them, so they were kind of more of a con. But like I said, there's definitely more cons than there are pros, and that's just my personal opinion. It's not anyone else's, and you can feel how you feel about the faction rallies. It's just my personal opinion of what I liked and didn't like. The pros of the faction rallies was that with the renown, it definitely made them more challenging. So there's definitely some time that you had to put in to do the faction rallies. Not something you just blow through, like, oh, jump on, do a public event or something. It was actually something you had to focus on and concentrate on. In a way, the renown itself kind of was a con for me for certain points because of the fact that you couldn't turn it off, and I really think that was a serious con, the fact that you couldn't turn it off, because like I did Escalation Protocol and it was so hard, and I didn't like it how some things, when I didn't want the renown, I couldn't take it off. And then there were other times where the renown got a little difficult for me, especially if I was a solo player or doing a lost sector by myself and I didn't have a good heavy, or if I didn't get heavy ammo or something like that. It made lost sectors themselves really, really hard to do. Just as for me personally, my skill level is not the best skill level. I have a very average skill level. But so the renown itself was a pro and a con. The challenges for the the armor ornaments were not very challenging, and I kind of like that. It was just kind of more time consuming. You just had to put the effort in and you would get the armor ornaments. It wasn't something that was so insane that there would be no way you were going to get all the ornaments. I was able to reach rank 50, and I got all the armor ornaments on 1 character. Now that itself is a con because I didn't like how they split it up so that you can't get the armor ornaments on all your characters. Like before, it was kind of like the Iron Banner where if you unlocked it for 1 character, it'd be unlocked for them all. With the faction rallies now, you have to do separate missions depending on whether or not you're a hunter, a warlock, or a titan, and you kind of have to grind through those challenges to get the ornaments. So I was only successful in getting one armor set. Now, I'm a very busy person, so I'm sure there was other people that got 3 armor sets and all that, and I applaud them for being able to put that time in. I personally couldn't. I only got the Hunter armor set, and that's because that's my primary character. And then from my Warlock and my Titan, I got the Mark and the Bond, and that's basically as far as I went. Another good tip for faction rallies, what me and my fire team did, is that we all pledged to the same faction so that we could help each other out, and that way it wouldn't be extremely different. I didn't know what to expect from the faction rallies. I didn't know anything. All I knew was that there was a possibility if we had pledged to New Monarchy or a future war cult that the missions would be different. If anyone knows the answer to that, please comment down in the description box. I'd like to hear if they were different, but you know, if not, I can always wait until next faction rally to find out if there were any different. My biggest thing is with the pledging together, though, is that we at first didn't know that the Hunter and the Warlock and the Titan were going to be different, and we all have a preference to what character we like to play on. I mostly play on my Hunter, Crimson mostly plays on his Titan, and Blue mostly plays on his Warlock, so that kind of, in a way, made it harder for us. But overall, I mean, they weren't challenging, so if you wanted the armor ornaments and had the time to put it in, you could have got them. I just personally did not like how it was set up. And another thing that I didn't like was that armor was not dropping. Like, I had a full set for Dead Orbit for my Hunter. I play on my Hunter. I keep all the sets for my Hunter. My Hunter is definitely by far my favorite. So I definitely have. I have almost all Future War Call, almost all New Monarchy, and I definitely had a full set of Dead Orbit. I have the Iron Banner, I have the Mars, the EDZ, the IO. Like, the point I'm trying to make is I have all of the armor sets for my Hunter. Well, the thing is, vault space not big enough to hold armor sets for all 3 of your characters if all 3 of your characters are different, like mine, because I have 1 Titan, 1 Warlock, and 1 Hunter, and that kind of caused a conflict for me because I had not saved Dead Orbit gear for my Titan and my Warlock because of vault space, and I found that trying to grind out tokens, even though I had reached rank 50 on my Hunter, like it didn't matter which character you're on, it would transfer over. Once I had reached rank 50, I no longer cared about playing on my Hunter. Well, actually, pretty much once I had the armor ornaments, I really didn't care about playing on my Hunter because I had already collected, and my next goal was the next armor set. Well, the thing is that the amount of time you had to take to put in, I grinded like crazy, and I was handing in tokens constantly, and for some reason I was just not getting the armor sets to drop. I got like maybe 1 or 2 pieces for the Titan, and I got 1 piece for the Warlock on the very last day right before reset. And that was very concerning to me because, like, what if someone else like me didn't keep a set and you wouldn't get any of the pieces the whole thing? Well, I don't know if that's just me, but my personal RNG, it did not give me an armor set, and it's like, what am I supposed to do? You have challenges on here that require a full set, but you're not dropping enough of the full set for me to get a full set during this faction. So I personally felt like maybe Bungie should implement a way to buy the armor set, kind of like Iron Banner, where you can use your tokens, buy the armor set so that you can do the challenges, because it wasn't fair a Bungie to make you grind out extra and pray and hope that your RNG was good enough to get the armor set. And then that also leaves the standpoint is, from what I've heard, the rumor is that there's only going to be 3 faction rallies during this season. So that means that someone that didn't get a full armor set is going to have to repledge to Dead Orbit or lose out on that piece. And that's not fair because of the fact that they didn't drop anything, and that's not necessarily Dead Orbit, I'm just speaking my personal example, because I pledged Dead Orbit for the Graviton Lance. But the point is that it kind of just takes away from it, and I don't know, I personally just don't like how that is. Maybe Bungie could do something that would guarantee a drop after so many packages open, or have it so that there's a guaranteed you can buy them and you get the armor sets, and it's just my personal opinion, but I just don't think it was fair to everybody. Another thing with the faction rallies is I did enjoy how the armor set looked. It was definitely very unique. It was not something I was expecting, and it was definitely worth grinding for. I mean, I don't normally use Dead Orbit armor to begin with. It's more of like a collection to me, but it was well worth the armor ornaments. And in my personal opinion, they're better than some other armor ornaments in this game. I think like Season 2 Iron Banner. I hated it, but I still grinded out to get it, but I really just hated it. But anyways, some cons that I had, it was really hard to reach rank 50. It took me all the way, I started on Tuesday, and I grinded every single night like crazy, turning in like 300-400 tokens, and sometimes a little less than that, only because, you know, I have busy schedule and everything, but it was like a serious grind, and I was doing the armor ornament challenges and everything, and I didn't reach rank 50 until Saturday. Now, you might think that's not a lot, but I put in a lot of hours, and it was just the fact that you had to wait for public events, or you do a patrol and it's, oh, go scan this, or it's go shoot these specific things. Like, there wasn't enough of kill everything, and there was like one set way to do it, and it really became a grind. Now, I get it, it's a looter, shooter, grinding, you know, type of game, and that's the whole point of the game, but I feel like there should have been, I don't know, like maybe more ways to earn tokens. Like, maybe I could get 1 token for doing a patrol, and not necessarily overly rewarding tokens, because I don't feel like it'd be fair if you gave me 20 tokens for me doing something minor like a public event. But I feel like if you gave us more ways to make tokens, like say every time we killed a public or a high value target, we would get 1 token. Every time we completed a patrol, we'd get 1 token, or other stuff like that. Or maybe if we did a EDZ daily challenges on the side when you first spawn in, like planetary challenges, we'd get a token, and kind of more ways of rewarding us to do things that don't necessarily get done in the game, and then that way we kind of pull in more people to want to do them. Because I mean, I would definitely, without a doubt, get those challenges done for planetary if I was going to get rewarded a token. And I feel like that's the type of system they should be doing. Like, oh, you got strike challenges. If you do the strike challenges, we'll give you a token per challenge. Or if you do the Nightfall challenge, we'll give you a token per challenge. Just kind of a little bit of extra added onto it. And it would also help people reach rank 50 easier for those that can't grind it out like I can. And also give you more participation in other things in the Destiny world other than the major things like public events, strikes, Nightfall. Like, and you're really pushing the lost sectors. I feel like you should have gave us a token if we took out all the things in the lost sectors that no longer give you tokens. Like, that's just my personal opinion. Like, more involved. Because, like, what's the point of keeping those supplies in there anymore when we don't get tokens for shooting them? There's no milestone to shoot them. It just seems a little pointless to have them around during faction rallies if we're not going to earn nothing from them. I was also thinking, too, that maybe there's a possibility that Bungie could later on extend the faction rallies in a way. Like, the winner is declared by the number of pledges. So you only get the week to pledge. And the winner is declared by the number of pledges, not by the number of packages opened. So I feel like, in a way, we should probably have it where you get the first week to pledge. All pledges are locked in by reset time the next week. But then give us that extra victory week to celebrate winning by doing more stuff for the faction rallies, by doing the milestones, handing in the tokens, and doing the challenges. Another thing that I thought could have been added is that Bungie needs to get on a set schedule of when faction rallies are going to be and Iron Banner is going to be, because I had some friends, they got on, they're like, oh, what are you guys doing? And I'm like, oh, we're grinding out faction rallies. They're like, oh, those came back? Like, there's nothing that says 100% like, guys, faction rallies are here. Yeah, it's on the reset, but what if a player doesn't always get back on the reset? What if they're busy and they can only play 1 or 2 days a week? And that would kind of suck for them to find out, oh, it's Saturday, and I didn't know this week was the faction rallies. Like, I'm not necessarily saying that everybody's going to be able to be like, oh yeah, let's schedule some time. But if people are aware that it's coming up, that it's this specific week every month, and they'll be sure to be like, okay, I know I got faction rallies this week, so I got to make sure I get on that game, because I really enjoyed the faction rallies. And it would just kind of open up more pledges, more people in the world, more help with public events, and all that stuff. It get more people in general to play for the Destiny community, and it would just be a better overall experience for everybody that currently plays and people that don't necessarily play as much, because there would be more people interested in it. Like, person can't compare, like, yeah, there's still those people that are not going to get on because they're like, oh, Bungie don't know how to do faction rallies, yada, 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 but if you're making a Pacific week, people are like, oh, I know this is Season 3's faction rally, maybe I should get on and see what it's like. But now all these people just missed out, because what if they didn't know the faction rally was going on, and they just missed out on a chance to get 3 catalysts, because you can get 1 per faction rally. Well, that's why I personally feel like that Bungie should maybe open it up and make it more of a strict schedule on when it is going to be on. Anyways, guys, that's all my point of view and everything and how I felt about everything. But other than that, see you later.